Alana, one of the things I like doing with you is cooking in unusual and versatile situations. Today you have us outside, and we're going to be cooking what today?
A vegan campfire chili.
Now, vegan, what have you taken out and put in place?
I've taken out the meat, and I've put in, so chili has beans, which is great, it's a protein alternative, but
Sure.
I've added lentils as well, green lentils and quinoa.
And you've made it so it's thick and hearty, and you may not even actually miss the meat. I love meat.
You're not going to miss it because of all the different vegetables, textures, and flavors that go on in this chili.
And it smells amazing already. I haven't even started cooking.
If you want to grab that pot over there, I'm going to start chopping some garlic that we're going to need.
So garlic, what are your main spices and flavors are happening in this particular?
So right in front of the celery there, I've got my spices in there, and what we have is we've got some cumin, some coriander, a chili powder I go for, which is a mix of chilies and other spices. And then to that, I've also added a bit of smoked paprika and a bit of dry crushed chili flakes.
It looks like you have almost a half a cup of spices, or a third of a cup of spices.
It is a lot of spices. You do want all those strong flavors to help balance out the sweetness of the vegetables.
Okay.
I mean, we've got some yams and sweet potatoes in here, so a lot of natural sweetness going on, and you're not going to get that richness that the meat would normally give you.
Okay, go ahead with that. So why are you putting yams? I would never put yams or sweet potatoes inside my chili.
I like the texture of it. They're less starchy than a regular potato.
Okay.
And I did want that pop of sweetness is what I wanted. And so into the pot here, we had the garlic go in. If you want to turn that on for me,
Sure.
We are going to go with about a half a cup of the flax oil.
Which seems like a lot to me.
It is quite a bit. What we're doing is we're going to sweat the onions and toast the spices in that.
Oh, how do you want this up?
Let's crank it up to maximum.
Cranked to maximum.
And so we've got our onions here as well, which we've cut up already. Pop those in. And so yeah, right here, if you want to give that spice blend a
I
sniff.
can smell it. Last time I did that, I did actually full nasal inhale, and it didn't go very well.
That must not have been very pleasant.
So I'm very careful now when I do that.
And so yeah, with this, we're just gonna add that in. And then right at the bottom here, I do have some dry crushed chili flakes in there.
Now, are we going to experience a lot of heat out of this recipe?
Yes, the recipe calls for 1 to 2 teaspoons of dry crushed chilies. 2 is gonna be on the heavy side.
Okay.
1 is a nice heat that I find to be nice. If you can't stand very much heat at all, but you do like chilies, start off with a 1/4. I'm gonna give this a stir here. And you can see how all that oil in there, the spices will absorb that. And
Completely absorbed it.
Completely, and then you're gonna get...
Show that to camera. Alana.
Absolutely.
That's
so just
completely
like that.
absorbed by the spices.
It's completely absorbed, and you're gonna let that sizzle away and saute just a little bit, like a couple minutes here.
And then next we do what?
Next, we will be adding some diced celery,
Okay.
green lentils, tomato paste, perfect, and
Green
red quinoa.
lentils?
Yes,
Tomato paste.
that's right, and I've got
You
that
have
in
that?
front of me here.
And what else?
And quinoa.
Now you're putting everything in dry.
Putting the lentils and the quinoa in dry, we're gonna let the veg stock cook that through.
Okay. And that cooks for how long?
That's gonna cook for about 15 to 20 minutes is what we want it to do. So here we go, everything's sizzling away in here.
Imagine this has been cooked for 15 minutes. What happens
And
next?
so if
then?
it's been cooked for 15 minutes, now what we're gonna do is we are gonna add a couple tablespoons of Worcestershire.
Okay. Great smell.
And now that Worcestershire is also gonna, in replacement of that meat flavor, if you will. Just a little bit of
So
it.
you're almost pretending you've got that beefy sort of
A little
pork
bit,
even,
that's
the barbecue
right.
pork.
And then it's also adding the acidity we need here as well.
Okay.
So veg stock goes in,
Good.
comes up to a boil, simmer for 15 minutes. What we're gonna do is we are gonna add our black beans because they're pre-cooked.
Okay.
So when it comes to the black beans, you can soak your beans overnight yourself, cook them yourself, and use those.
Can you use canned black beans?
I was gonna say, or you can just use canned black
so
beans.
when I make chili, I use red kidney beans. Black beans are a great alternative.
Exactly. You've got
use-
so many different kind of beans you
Canned
can add to
works
it.
as well.
Can works well. That goes in. We would add our diced yams and diced sweet potatoes.
So here is your yams.
Now, if you're not a fan of yams, by all means use carrots.
Okay.
Okay, and that will give you sweetness as well.
I might find it to be yam, sweet potato, same kind of thing for me.
Exactly, because they are very similar.
Yeah.
And so that way you could substitute carrots. I've drained water. If you are going to pre-dice your sweet potatoes, they do go that dark gray color.
Okay.
Water helps keep them nice, bright, and yellow.
Okay. Same with like potatoes, keep them a little bit.
That's
drenched
right.
in water.
That's right. And so we're going to pop that in there as well.
Okay. It's looking very hearty at this point.
It is, and it's gonna come all together. Now with this here, we've got bell peppers going into this as well. So yeah, we would put our bell peppers in, let that cook down. What you're gonna notice is as the sweet potatoes cook, the chili is gonna thicken and naturally go. We're gonna add flax seeds as well.
Okay.
Flax seeds definitely help tighten this up.
So if you really want to start getting that thick
Pinch of salt.
chili texture to it, you're looking at the flaxseed.
You're looking at the flax seeds and the quinoa. As the quinoa cooks, it acts kind of like how ground beef will give you the little texture, little pebbles.
Yeah.
Quinoa and the lentils are going to do that as well. So once this goes for another 15 to 20, everything is softened up in there. What we do is I have canned tomatoes to add. So in goes all of the liquid, and then just put your hands in there and squish that up.
Pull one of my 10-year-olds in for that one.
To be honest, I really like this because it's more therapeutic than anything else.
Cooking is therapeutic.
So we're gonna drop those in.
Therapeutic vegan chili.
That's right.
Got it.
Yeah, this chili is going to do wonders for you. That's it. And then once cook it up. If you take a look at this,
that is.
Does that not look like chili?
That is a thick, solid chili. Beautiful. I like it. So you're going to heat that back up?
We're going to heat that back up, and we're going to serve it with a grilled corn and cilantro salsa.
Are we going to make that too?
Yes, let's do that.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay, perfect. Let's take that chili off. On goes our pan, and into the pan is going to go the flax oil. So we're going to go with about a 1/4 cup of oil for the salsa.
Perfect.
And then we've got tomatoes that we will add to the pan.
You can do that. There's your tomatoes.
Thank you very much. And all it is grape tomatoes that I've quartered.
Okay. And you have, looks like maybe 2 cups?
Yes, exactly 2 cups worth.
Okay.
Which is just under 2 pints of uncut tomatoes.
Okay.
And then we'll add a pinch of salt to this.
You're gonna get that going and sauteing.
Let that get going, heat it up. Once that softens up, you are gonna notice the tomatoes break down a little bit. It becomes almost saucy looking.
It does.
Right, and then once it's saucy looking, you know that it's ready. Turn it off, and you add the rest of your ingredients.
Good.
So you can hear that sizzling going.
You can. That's a good thing.
That's a good thing. We're gonna let that sizzle.
So you're simmering these. What are we chopping up next?
Simmering these, let's chop up some cilantro that goes into it. And so I'm just gonna take a bunch of it right off like this, because I only want the leaves.
So you're chopping those up. The difference between cilantro and Italian parsley, do you know the difference between the two?
Intense flavor difference.
Okay, completely different?
Completely different. The cilantro, the leaf itself is a lot more delicate, so you're gonna notice texturally that it's a lot softer than parsley.
Yeah.
The color is a little less dark green, but if anything, the flavor is completely different.
Okay.
I find that when it comes to cilantro, you either love it or you hate it.
And I love it.
And as a child, I used to hate it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No, I love it. And maybe I didn't eat as a child, but I certainly love it as an adult.
And so when it comes to the cilantro, you don't want to go too fine. You don't want to be bruising it too much.
Okay.
So you just gently run your knife through a couple times like this, and then that's ready to go. I will also take a jalapeno.
So you're doing the jalapenos?
Yes, chopping the jalapenos.
Okay.
Nice small dice. Then, now that you see how those tomatoes are starting to bubble and
Yes.
the juice is coming out of them?
Yes.
That's perfect. What we want to do is, if you want your salsa tighter, keep
Yes.
letting it boil.
Okay.
If you want it saucier, leave it now and turn it off. From here, what we're going to do is we're going to add the rest of the ingredients, and then
do
it's
it.
ready. Here's what we want to do is these fine chopped red onions, they go right in. And what it is we're not necessarily cooking them, we're just letting the heat of this carry us through.
Okay.
So I'm going to take a spoon here so I don't splash you. And just mix that in.
Very kind of you.
You know, I try sometimes.
considerate when you want to be.
Thank you. Well, we thought about white and chili and salsa.
Right? Wrong.
Nice kernels of fresh corn that were just grilled on the barbecue until you get this charring.
Grill your corn, stand it up, take your knife, and just run it
right down.
Run it down. It is
That's right.
that simple.
There we go. So we've got that mixed in. We've got our jalapenos.
Yeah, if it was loose a minute ago, it's not anymore.
That's right. Everything is, all the other ingredients will definitely soak up some of that juice.
Okay.
And then I will cut in the juice of, now the lime is going to depend on how acidic you like it. If you like it really
like
sour,
a good zing in mine,
we're going to
yes.
go with 1.5 then.
Okay. I love a
If
good
you like
zing in
even
mine.
more zing, we'll go with 2.
Okay.
But start with 1 and see how you think. And now, mind you, these limes aren't the juiciest either, so we might just use all 4 of them.
So you got 2 limes in there.
2 limes
You're
in there.
not worrying about heating any more of
Not
the
anymore,
product.
that's
Okay.
right. And the reason why is the corn is already cooked. You do want that freshness from that red onion. I mean, red onion's not that strong of an onion anyways, it is a sweeter onion. And then you want the freshness of the jalapenos, the lime juice, and the cilantro.
Well, why don't you pull that over here? I'll bring your beautiful chili over here.
There we go.
And let's plate it up. It's deceitful how thick that is.
Isn't it? Like you really, just looking at it, you would not think that it was a vegan chili.
I'll let you know. And I'll tell you the truth.
And so, depending on how much of this corn salsa you like,
Yep.
just add a little spoonful on top.
Couple of,
And there you
couple
go.
of your tostado,
Oh, yes. Blue corn chips. They're organic blue corn chips on here for you.
and look at that. It does not get any better than that.
And it's going to be satisfying in terms of stick to your ribs chili. You know, it's
Stick to your ribs.
there you go.
You're talking all cowboy talk now. Okay, here we go. Thanks, Alana Peckham.
You're welcome. Enjoy.
Always amazing. This recipe and more on your website and mine.
Alligga.com. Absolutely.
check?
Yes.
I'm going to let everybody know that dinner's ready.